Welcome to the Appalachian High Route. Welcome to the Appalachian High Route, an approximately 340-mile loop that hits some of the highest peaks in the Appalachian Mountains. So it overlaps the Mount Sea Trail, the Appalachian Trail, and is connected by the Burnsville Connector. I started my trip by heading clockwise from Burnsville, so the very first part of the trip was going over the Black Mountain Crest Trail up and over Mount Mitchell. Now it is March and it is very cold, and yes, it snowed and there was ice. The Black Mountain Crest Trail over Mount Mitchell is probably the hardest part of this loop, so I decided to tackle it first. I had actually attempted to start hiking the Burnsville Connector a few weeks beforehand, but I was not expecting all the snow and was definitely underprepared and had to cut that day hike rather short. It's delicious.
Okay, back to the current trip. After a few hard miles of climbing, I was quickly rewarded with a beautiful view.
Gorgeous view.
Having grown up in the desert, not around snow and ice, every time I come into contact with it, I'm just fascinated by it. I love the sound of it and how it tastes and, the looks of the different grains or snowflakes. It's just really cool to me.
I knew I only had 10 days off in a row, which wouldn't be quite enough time to finish the whole loop, but I figured I could finish as much as I possibly could and then come back the following week or two to finish. So my goal this trip was to try to make it to Hot Springs, North Carolina. Just lightly sprinkling right now, but it was snowing this morning, so I'm not sure which I prefer. Usually snow, because it's easier to stay dry, but I was cold this morning. Doing a lot better now, and the views are beautiful. Wing up.
There are multiple places where you have to use ropes to climb up or down the steep ledges. As I continued to hike, the weather conditions continued to deteriorate. It went from snow to getting lots of fog to sleet to lots and lots of cold rain. With the weather deteriorating, the closer I got to Mount Mitchell, the less I was able to record because I was just getting too cold, so I had to keep moving.
Sorry about the shakiness. I'm shivering. I have made it to Mount Mitchell. I'm not at the peak yet. I've made it to a picnic shelter, and I'm just really, really cold. I'm trying to stave off the chill, not working. Just had some nice hot apple cider, eating some food. I switched into some warmer socks
with some waterproof socks on top. So hopefully I'm gonna get moving. Hopefully I'll get warmed up a lot quicker. Sorry, I gotta go.
After crossing Mount Mitchell, the trail essentially turned into a creek for almost the rest of the day.
It felt like an impossible task trying to find somewhere semi-dry to camp.
That night turned out to be a very rough night.
I'm sure I look awful right now, but oh well. So, I know I didn't have time to completely finish this whole hike in one go, but I have like 10 days to try and do as much as possible. So I was trying to make it from wherever it is I started all the way to Hot Springs, North Carolina. I'm not gonna make it. I'm already having to call it. It's like, I only made it like 4 miles the first evening, and then yesterday it just rained so much. Like, I had an umbrella, a rain poncho, a rain jacket, and I soaked through it all. And it was so cold that I had my thermals on and my puffy, so it soaked through my puffy, my rain jacket. Got into my tent, and all my stuff ended up getting my quilt all wet, so now, and the sleeping liner, so everything is wet. If I were out west, I'd be able to, just air it out, but I'm not. I'm in North Carolina where nothing dries. So I was cold last night. It was warm enough to stay safe, but not warm enough to be comfortable. Yeah, it was pretty miserable, so I was like, I'm gonna have to call it. I thought I was gonna have to start getting packed up and hiking while it's like 30 degrees in wet clothes, which is dangerous. Luckily, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. And guess what? Now it's all sunny and warm. It's actually warm. I checked the weather last night, and it said it was gonna be raining again today, so like, I'm gonna have to call it. So Michael is on his way. Now it's beautiful. It's like, I think I would be okay if my sleeping gear were just dry at least. A little too far from town. So, yeah, I can't do another cold, wet night. Soon after this, I broke my phone, which just solidified my need to get off the trail at least for a couple of days.